So it's really been a farmers league up until this point, and now we finally have some new blood, some new faces etched onto that trophy.
Yeah, the Pontiac tournament has always been a good tournament to watch, and it seems like it's just even getting better with these private schools now entering and even taking the crown. But now let's move on to the Big Dipper. As we talked about, Homewood Flossmoor did not walk away with the championship crown. It was Rich Township, the team of winter break.
Yeah, they're a team of destiny right now. They're the biggest headline by far in probably all the Chicagoland area because of how they've come onto the scene in these last few weeks. They had a crazy run, first beating undefeated Kenwood at the time, 87-84, and then beating HF in the finals, 81-67. And what a finals game this was, as the court literally had to be cleared out in the stands. Fire marshal was saying people had to leave because people were sitting in the aisles. It was so crowded, absolutely insane. But talking a little bit more about Rich, they were 7-4 going into the tournament, and now, ever since one of their players said they had a little Christmas team bonding activity, they've gone undefeated. They're now 12-4 and ranked as the #2 team in all of the Chicagoland area.
Yeah, definitely the biggest jump that we saw over winter break. I mean, this team really just flipped a page in their book, and it has worked out great. I mean, recently they just beat 2 teams from New York, and let's talk about their tournament MVP, Al Brooks Jr., who dropped 12 points, 15 rebounds, and 4 blocks in the final.
Yeah, he was instrumental in his role, but what's also a little surprising is that Jamson Coulter, another one of their star players, did not win the tournament MVP because he dropped 30 in the finals and 26 in the semis. He's been kind of their three-point shooter, so maybe it's because they're giving the award to a guard that's maybe more influential in the build-up play, but still, I think Jamson Coulter also deserves his flowers equally. But Al Brooks Jr. has been the star that's been grabbing all the headlines. But what people don't know is that he also has a younger brother, Ike Brooks, who has been just as important. Not been scoring as many points, but he's been a great role player for the starting 5. And a reason why they're doing so well, I think the Brooks brothers should get an NIL deal with, of course, the fashion company.
Yeah, that would be great to see. These Brooks brothers transferred over from Hansberry. They are a CPS school that was formerly in the same conference as TJ Seals from Kenwood.
Yeah, we talked about that last episode, the Noble Conference, how people were literally sitting in empty field houses. It was way different than the CPS basketball we know now that they're playing.
Yeah. But yeah, Rich Township, their head coach, Lou Adams, obviously wins the coach of the tournament, really coming in as one of the underdogs and coming out with the crown is very impressive to see from this team. As we talk about the third place game, Kenwood beat Hillcrest 72-66. That game got a little pulled away at the end. Jaden Tyler, Aiden DeRose, Al Brooks, Jamson Coulter, and Devin Cleveland and Alex Alston are all those named to the all-tournament team. This tournament was a fun one to watch.
Very fun. Alex Alston, another surprising admittance into the all-tournament team, considering that he really did not have an impressive tournament considering the amount of points he scored. He's probably the 4th leading scorer on his team behind not only Devin Cleveland, but also Amari Williams and TJ Seals as well. He's been having a little disappointing season for his standards, considering that going into it, he was ranked as one of the top seniors in his class for Illinois.
Yeah, that's something we're going to touch up on later in in this episode as we get to our who could be the player of Illinois. As going into the season, many people thought it would be Alex Alston, but he's kind of been overshadowed by sophomore Devin Cleveland, and it really hasn't really affected them much in their successful season, but it has affected Alex Alston for sure.
And then another player that's not only putting Illinois on notice, but probably the whole nation on notice is Davion Thompson, who led Bolingbrook to beat Fenwick 54-48 in the final of the Jack Tosh tournament. What a game this was. And once again, it was all about, well, not just the finals, but also the semifinals, as Davion Thompson had a flu game performance, beating Metamora 61-47, thanks to his outstanding play in the second half. He started off slow, only scored 4 points in the first 2 quarters, but then helped his team by scoring 14 points in the next 2, finishing with 18 points and helping his team surge past Metamora when they were down by 10 at halftime.
Yeah, a seriously impressive tournament from Davion Thompson. I mean, playing with the flu, I mean, a stomach bug is never easy to even run through, but let alone play in a semifinal and partially championship game with the flu. That's another thing. Well, let's talk about Fenwick. Fenwick has kind of put all of Illinois on notice as they have established their offense and mostly their defense through 4-star, I believe 5-star now, Nate Marshall, committed to Michigan. He's a defensive lineman, just kind of doing all their work for Fenwick as they actually took a loss over Whitney Young over this winter break. And Michael O'Brien didn't even consider the loss because Nate Marshall was at the All-American game.
Yeah, it just speaks volumes to how important Nate Marshall is to this team. Out of nowhere, they've just become a 3A state title contender because of their tough